Hey everyone, it's me, Just Jess, and I am back for CW Chat, and I've got some great guests today. We have local artists Jason Latour and Rico Renzi. You probably know them from the hit Spider-Gwen. They do a lot of other things too. Jason's been working on Southern Bastards. It's being optioned by FX for a pilot, which is pretty cool. We'll get more into that. Rico works on Squirrel Girl and Howard the Duck. He's also the creative director at Heroes, so we see him all the time at the comic book store, which is pretty rad. We're excited to have you guys here today. Thanks for being here.
Thanks.
And we got a bunch of Spider-Gwen and Southern Bastards stuff all over our set, if you can ever even see it.
Strangest mix of images.
It is. It's pretty funny, but it looks good. It's like nice and colorful. Let's start with some CW news, just to rattle off some headlines for you guys. There's been a lot coming out this summer. First of all, as you know, Nina Dobrev is not returning to the Vampire Diaries. She said goodbye to her fans, but CW President Mark Pedowitz says she's always welcome back if she wants to come back. This is cool. Britney Spears is going to be on Jane the Virgin, and I think it's going to be pretty exciting. And she's supposed to be, her nemesis is Rogelio de la Vega. So that is going to be interesting. The Jane the Virgin show is going to come back Monday, October 12th. It's going to be at 9 p.m. following the premiere of Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. And big news on that, we are having a huge premiere party for Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. It's an advanced screening. It's going to be at the Comedy Zone. It's coming up October 7th. It's going to be from 5:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. You're going to get to see a free screening of the show and shop all these local designers. We've got Enemy to Fashion, Good Grief Vintage, Light Beings, Candles, Boulevard South End. Check out at Just Jess WCCB on Twitter for the full list of vendors. Are you guys into shopping the local goods?
Yes.
Yes.
Always shop local.
Got any favorites you want to plug?
Heroes aren't hard to find.
There you go.
For your local
Go
comic
there.
needs.
All day, all night. Okay, so this is an interesting one. The Notebook. Nicholas Sparks' The Notebook is being turned into a pilot for the CW. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't like Nicholas Sparks.
No, I'm not a real fan. I'm not into the romantic comedies.
I like a rom-com with a twist.
Rom-com with a twist.
He's not really a rom-com though, is he?
Well, he's more just a
More
rom.
sort of a rom
Just rom.
fantasy.
Yeah, just a rom, kind of sad. Apparently, we're not going to see the elderly Alzheimer's couple on there, which I don't know. But it's going to be set in North Carolina, so I don't know if they're going to shoot it here.
Yeah, I'm a big Cormac McCarthy fan, and he talked a lot of he said a lot of really dumb things about Cormac McCarthy books.
Yeah. Oh,
Which I thought was really funny.
He dissed your bro.
Yeah, he kind of dissed my bro.
I'm not, I appreciate Nicholas Sparks' work, but I'm not real into it.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with anybody liking it.
Yeah.
But
it could be good. I mean, it'd be a different genre for us to have in the network, and it is a network. We gotta have everybody interested.
I write a book about a teenage girl that sticks to walls. I can't be too judgmental.
It sticks to walls.
Yeah.
Just to pare it down for you guys. Sticks to walls.
And redneck stick fights.
That's true.
It's all sticks.
Just sticks.
Everything sticks.
Everything sticks in this comic world. So, then I guess we can love The Notebook too. I'm interested to see what's going to happen with it. It could be good. Let's hope it's good. Let's hope
is
it's
there any casting information?
They don't have any yet.
So
it's not going to
So
be.
me and Rico can still try.
You could try out for sure. I mean, and you could probably
We could be the old elderly couple.
There you go. It takes a real twist.
Yeah.
They're both guys now.
Yeah. It's Stadler and Waldorf.
There you go. I'm interested to see how it goes. But that is the biggest news out of the Television Critics Association panel. So we're looking forward to seeing what comes out with that. I'm more excited about The Flash Season 2 premiere, and we are having another party at Heroes for the premiere. That is going to be Tuesday, October 6th. It's going to be I think it's from 6 to 9:30. Yes.
It was a great turnout last time.
It was a lot of fun. We're going to bring Frank the Tank back,
Yes,
the hot
JJ's.
dog truck.
Buy local.
Buy local. Eat hot dogs. I mean, nobody's sad about that. Stephen Amell is going to be on SummerSlam. Have you guys been following this at all?
Is that right?
A little bit, actually.
A little bit?
Yeah. Well, you can't have comics Twitter and not know.
Yes, exactly, and not know who's going to be on. So Stephen Amell is battling Stardust, and I'm curious, my biggest question is, what's he going to wear? Are they going to let him wear the CW Arrow costume, or?
I
Might be
highly
tricky.
doubt that.
Yeah, I
Might
would
just
doubt
wear
it.
something green.
Yeah, like a green spandex suit.
Ooh.
It'll be
Everyone's tuning in.
Eru. They'll take the W off.
Yes. Well, they're calling him with the Emerald Archer.
Or he could be Error.
Error.
Yeah.
Yeah. Steven. So they said that I guess the whole thing is Stardust is pretending that he really believes that Stephen Amell is the Green Arrow in real life.
I think that's pretty great.
I think
because
it's
it's
fun.
so ridiculous.
It is really. I had never watched wrestling till I watched that last match where he was on there, and I was texting our street team from Melissa, like, so explain to me again why people watch this.
I used to watch it when it was old, sweaty tan men that looked like like bags of
like
boiled
Hulk
peanuts.
Hogan,
Yeah.
Ric Flair, woo.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be hosted by Jon Stewart, though, so that should be big
That's a good
ratings
reason
for
to
them.
watch.
Some
I
good
know.
marketing over there.
I know. I mean, if you got somebody like me interested in WWE SummerSlam, good job. Congratulations to you. More Flash news. They have casted Wally West. We knew it was going to happen. We didn't know who was going to play. Keenan Lonsdale joining in winter as he's not a kid, so he's the Kid Flash, Wally West, but he's not a kid. Do you guys have any familiarity with Wally?
Yeah, it's my favorite Flash character.
Is it? So are you excited to see him on TV maybe someday?
When I finally dive into the show, yes.
When you finally dive into the show. And Jason was saying that the Flash influences some of the work on Spider-Gwen. How? How does that happen?
I was a pretty big fan of that book when I was like in high school, early college. Mark Waid had like this really famous run. And one of the things that they did with the Flash at that point in time was they actually handed the mantle off. So the Flash became like Kid Flash became the Flash.
Yeah.
And then they even set up that like he had a younger cousin from the future. And I just thought it was really neat that they played with the generational aspect of it.
Yeah.
And I always liked the idea that like a different generation could have a different Flash.
Yes.
So, like if I had a younger brother or a kid one day, they might have a Flash of their
Different
own.
Flash, yeah. Well, people are excited about Jay Garrick. He's also a Flash, and that's, so it's like 3.
Yeah.
I don't know if I was Grant Gustin, I'd be a little worried. There's a couple other guys
Are they gonna
coming
take
in.
his job?
I know, because really, if you follow the books, eventually Wally West takes over. Barry Allen's out.
Sure.
So we'll see how that comes about, but I'm curious because Wally West is supposed to be a kid. I think they're maybe going to have him be like a cousin to Iris or something, maybe not her nephew, unless it's from time travel, which who knows then.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
It'd be cool if they had started it with a kid.
It would be cool if it started with a kid.
I would like to see that.
But what do they say, don't work with kids and animals?
Yeah, I guess so. That's why they have the Gorilla Garage is all
Or is
CG.
it babies? I don't know. Babies are technically just smaller kids.
Smaller kids, yeah. It's a whole classification. Small people and animals.
Animals, they're actually technically animals.
Yeah, that's
babies
true.
are.
Don't work with small animals in television. It never goes well. Have you been following all the Supergirl hype? Any thoughts on the new Supergirl coming out?
I know a lot of people are very excited about it. I don't really. It sounds funny from a guy that writes a book called Spider-Gwen, but it looks a little soap opera-y for my taste.
It does. Have you guys seen the SNL spoof with Scarlett Johansson? And it's like supposed to be a rom-com of her being the Black Widow. Yeah,
Yeah, it does look like that a little bit.
It does. But I've heard great things about the pilot.
I mean, I hope it's very good. I would like for there to be a
It
very.
seems like the right people are excited about it. Like
Yeah,
it's-
that's the
true.
other part about it.
It seems like it's hitting the audience that it wants to hit,
Right.
with just the
Yeah.
trailer. So
Yeah.
And
that's cool.
there's nothing a positive like a female superhero in this day and age on television.
It's
like that's a
true.
really big deal, and I think that even if it's not really for me, the fact that people
Yeah.
who are starved for that kind of thing actually have that kind of option now.
Has there
Yeah.
been one since Wonder Woman?
Right.
I don't think so. And I think even the CW president seemed a little bit like, we maybe should have taken it. We maybe should have taken Supergirl. Now, I had a question for you. You write a young female superhero. What is it like? What's the thought process on writing a Spider-Gwen? Because she's like a young chick.
Yeah, she's 19 in the
Yeah.
book. Well, I don't think, I think the process of being a writer is largely about asking yourself questions. So I never try to assume that I know what it's like to be a young girl.
Yeah.
So the whole process of trying to write any story, I just try to ask myself better questions.
Yeah.
So the process of writing her is not too different than maybe writing her father, who's like a cop. in the
Okay.
book. So I don't really know what it's like to be a cop or a father either.
Yeah.
You know, no more than I know what it's like to be a 19-year-old girl in a band that sticks to walls. So a lot of your, you know, you try to find a commonality in people, and you try to think about like what you have gone through, or what you've seen other people go through, and then just ask yourself better questions, you know.
Okay.
I think the worst thing you can do as a writer is assume that you have all the answers. The answers will sort of like unfold like as you try to tell the story, I think.
Do you think one of the reasons that Spider-Gwen has taken off so much popularity is because of that craving for female superheroes?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, for a long time we've seen largely white leads, like white male leads as superheroes. There's nothing wrong with white male leads as superheroes, but it doesn't necessarily like paint an accurate view of like, you know, American culture or comics culture like as a whole. So, you know, and we've also seen a lot of these stories like over and over and over again ad nauseum.
Yeah. It's something, a whole fresh take.
Yeah, like some of the similar tropes of like older comics become like a little bit newer and fresher when you change the gender dynamics of it. You know?
And if you, I mean, you guys well know at Heroes Con, a lot of like teenage girls are there.
Yeah.
And so it's, I mean, you had a busy day at Heroes Con, both of you.
Yeah.
I mean, what has it been like? What has the roller coaster of Spider-Gwen's popularity been like?
Oh, it was just supposed to be one issue, and it did really well even before it came out. You know, it was like, you know, it's impossible for something to do well before it comes out because you don't have sales numbers, but there was just so much fan reaction to it and online, and you know, when the book came out, the numbers showed that, you know, people were into it, and immediately they asked us if we could do it monthly, and we said yes.
Did you feel the pressure? Does that add more pressure?
There was never any pressure with this for me. It's I'm not putting my heart out there, you know. I'm just coloring it, but you know, it was just fun for me.
The initial reaction to it was not overwhelming, but it was very surreal. So I don't think like one of the fortunate things about doing comics is that like it's such a hectic pace.
Yeah.
That it's, you know, they have to come out every month. So like to some degree, like there's no other art form that can like really strike as quickly.
Yeah, art form with deadlines.
Yeah, the only other thing that's comparable is maybe music. But even then, like especially with big music, there's, you know, a whole machinery behind it all.
Yeah.
And comics, even at a company like Marvel, is still largely only about like 10 people max that like touch the book, you know, before it reaches the stands.
Yeah.
So that pace of things like you know, just never gives you too much time to obsess over it.
Right.
Or at least that's the approach I take.
That's good. Well, I mean, that's good in a way that you just kind of get it done, focus. What is the process like? Because now Robbie doesn't live here, correct?
No.
No. So
are you talking about Earth?
He lives on Earth.
No, I'm just kidding. Robbie,
Not in this
Robbie's
state.
the greatest. Yeah, Robbie lives in Portland, Oregon.
Okay, wow, see, that's so far. So who starts? I mean, I guess you start writing it and then send it off to Robbie, then send it back to Rico. What's the process like?
Our process is largely that. It's usually a little more organic in the sense that like one of my biggest jobs is to try and keep Robbie and Rico excited.
Mm-hmm.
So,
cheerleader.
Yeah, I mean,
He shows up at his house.
beyond like writing the, you know, trying to figure out the game plan, the rest of it is sort of like being a coach, you know, where it's like I'm trying to figure out how to best utilize these two guys or give them a stage to like shine on.
Yeah.
And in particular, like, you know, this project was sort of co-designed for the two of them.
Yeah.
You know, like one of the reasons I felt like I could even do a story like this was because I knew what they were capable of. So, yes, like there's usually a phone call with my editor, Nick Lowe in New York, and he and I will sort of game plan everything. And then I'll go back and like the broader strokes, and then I'll usually like sit and think about things for a couple weeks, and then I'll call Robbie or Rico up and sort of come visit him in the office.
Yeah.
And talk their ear off, and then kind of land on something that I think like meets the demands of the story, that the larger story we're trying to tell, but also it keeps them involved. And then after I write the script, I hand it off to Robbie. Robbie does, you know, all the art, basically the visual storytelling part of it. And then he hands it off to Rico, who contributes the color and the color storytelling part of it.
And I mean, and I I've read, and I mean, I don't know a ton about comic books, but the color is cool. I mean,
It's
and
phenomenal.
it is really vibrant, and the choices are really excellent. Is it a lot of fun to do? Like, talk me through something. Like, what's kind of your thought process on something like this?
I just want it to look cool, you know.
Do you have to go through a bunch of times and do redos, or?
No, I don't get too many notes, but like you said, I just want it to be striking to grab somebody.
And it does.
Just you know, the graffiti on there looks.
From a butt page.
Yeah.
Yes, I know. It's that's funny. Like, the jokes are hysterical too. It reads really modern.
I'll never let you forget that.
Jokes are hysterical.
And just if you're at the conventions, the comic coloring does stand out. I mean, and her costume is super cool. A lot of people dress up like Gwen Stacy. I think it's really neat. Now, take us through a little bit of Southern Bastards with the FX option. I mean, that is something. What's going on there?
About in early June, I think it was. Well, just a backstory what the book is. The book is basically, or at least where it begins. It begins with the story of a guy named Earl Tubb, whose father was a famous lawman in this small county in Alabama in the late 60s, early 70s. And Earl's father was famous for like cleaning up Craw County. But Earl and his father never got along, and so you jump to 45 years later, and Earl left town and never came back.
Yeah.
Went off to Vietnam and then settled down on his own in Birmingham, and he comes home to clean out the family estate after his uncle gets sick. And what he comes back to find is this town that's like basically been overrun by a criminal element.
Yeah.
And the basically at the top of that pyramid is this evil football coach.
Right.
Yeah, so it's a little bit like evil Friday Night Lights.
Yeah, it is.
Meets Walking Tall or
and
something.
when you get into it and read a little bit more, you learn a bit more about the coach, and there's definitely some empathy for him. So I suggest reading it.
Don't spoil anything.
Don't
here.
spoil it.
At the end of the first volume, there's two very major twists that sort of set the whole series on its head.
Yeah.
And you know, it's done very well, like for us, like as a comic book. It's been pretty well received critically. And then about 3 months ago, we signed a deal with FX, and Scott Rudin, the producer Scott Rudin, who made No Country for Old Men and a bunch of Wes Anderson movies and Coen Brothers movies and Zoolander and pretty much every movie you can think of almost, to develop it at FX. So my co-creator Jason Aaron and I, he's largely the writer on the book and I'm largely the artist on the book. There's some overlap there, but largely that's the separation of labor. But on the TV show, we're both co-writers, and we're writing the script right now, the pilot script right now, and we're executive producers.
That's amazing.
So it's not necessarily a done deal that it's going to be on television, but we feel we feel pretty good about it right now.
I'm very excited to see that. Do you get to have any say in the casting?
Yeah, apparently we have a very big say in the casting.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so.
That's cool. I mean, I'm sure as you write these things, sometimes you imagine Rico's going to be in it.
He's selling hot dogs.
We're
JJ's
all
hot
in
dogs.
it. See, that's
eating.
Eating hot dogs, selling hot dogs,
and
a recurring hot dog man.
It's been a theme of so many comic books are now taking it to the screen, big screen, little screen. How do you guys feel about the influx of comics just on TV in general?
I mean, it's great. It gets people, you know, buying the books. I mean, some people think it doesn't, but you know, I think it does. You know, you probably came from that direction.
I did, definitely. I mean, these are mine.
I see you in the shop all the time now.
I am, and I actually go and I read them, and I have read them. I've read 1 through 5 of Spider-Gwen, and I've read all this. Well, I haven't read the last 2 of Southern Bastards, but yes, it's made me a fan, and I'm just excited to see how, if it gets made into a show, if it's picked up. I'm excited to see how it is created. Where can we find you guys? Where are some signings coming up? And talk about the next SpiderGwen.
We're going to be relaunching SpiderGwen with the new #1 in October, and we're having a signing at Heroes Aren't Hard to Find on October 17th. And we'll be there. Robbie, the artist, will be there. And we're going to have some of our friends from New York come down who do a book called Paper Girls, and they'll be signing their #1 too.
Will the Mary Janes be there performing?
I'm not sure yet.
We're not sure yet.
We might have a new vinyl record though for the signing.
That would be cool.
Yeah, the Mary Janes are a band in the book.
In the book.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta read them.
Yeah, these guys.
Yes, you can see here. This is Jason's.
And they're sort of composed of it's an alternate universe than the regular Spider-Man stuff, so you can come in sort of fresh. The basic concept, all you really need to know is that Gwen Stacy, who is popular in other media for being one of Peter Parker's girlfriends, has the spider powers in this universe.
Got the Spidey sense.
And one of the things that she feels guilty about, or her sort of great power, great responsibility issue, is that Peter Parker's died, and she feels like she's responsible for it. But to a couple things, like her father, who's a police chief, is now responsible for hunting Spider-Woman down.
Yeah.
So her name in the book is Spider-Woman, not SpiderGwen. That's just sort of a nickname that everybody's given the book, and it's a very easy way to sort of like keep it in people's minds.
Right. It's very cool, and then we're looking forward to seeing the next issues of it, and we're looking forward to seeing what happens with Southern Bastards on FX. There's so much coming up. We thank you guys for being here. If you want to follow, if they want to follow you on Twitter, where can they find you?
Who is Rico? R-I-C-O.
Okay.
Mine is just my name, Jason Latour at Twitter.
Follow them. Keep up with all their.
Is it really? Is that how you do it? Jason Latour at Twitter?
No, it's at Jason Latour.
Jason Latour.
Close. That's fine. Find him, son. Just Google Jason Latour.
Yeah, I'm apparently 90 years old and don't know how to use
Ask
Twitter.
me, and I will send you to their Twitters. Well, thank you guys so much for being here, and we're looking forward to see what all comes out next.